What is the dumbest thing you have ever done while high? Stood in an elevator for about 5 minutes before realizing that no one pressed any buttons. But was it actually only like 5 seconds, but felt like 5 minutes because time doesn't work right when high? I think I've done this sober. I was mentally preoccupied and totally forgot. I've done this sober. The ADHD had me already doing something else before even pressing the button. My wife did this when she got high for the first time in forever on vacation. I mean, I was with her but she was the one next to the buttons. Has happened to me before too. I stood in the elevator and thought it was going down, so I was there for a good few minutes. When the doors opened, I realized that I was still on my floor and my friends who were also waiting for an elevator were bewildered to find me still there. I walked into a fast food place, made a huge order. I got all my food and drink, sat my food on a table and went to use the bathroom. Then I walked out and went home and didn't realize what I did for at least 2 hours. You had the munchies and forgot your food? Exactly how much did you smoke? The answer is always not enough. Come on now bruh. The answer is yes. I had something similar happen to me. Got a new strain that hit really hard and made me hungry, so I decided to order pizza. Pizza arrived and I went to the sink to wash my hands and grab plates, but on the way to the kitchen I pulled my phone out to check for texts. I turned around and went back to my couch empty-handed. I sat there for about an hour watching Futurama before noticing how insanely hungry I was. I totally forgot about the pizza sitting on my counter, but I did find the coupon sheet it came with, so I ordered more pizza. This is a little story I like to tell about the last time I got really high. A few years back I was chilling in my buddy's basement and he breaks out this new muffin he just got and says we should smoke it. I decide this is a good idea. I was not ready for what this muffin did to me. Every hit felt like it was stealing a little piece of my soul. I coughed so hard after each rip I thought I might never enjoy a clean breath of air again. After about 4 hits, I was so high that I turned into a different life form. It must have been a good 20-30 minutes before I even uttered a single word of English. A little while later, after I regain a little bit of a sense of who I am as a person, I decide to head home to have dinner. Remembering that my kitchen was kinda bare, I head down to the grocery store, which is thankfully only 3 blocks away. Otherwise I would have surely gotten lost. Upon entering the store, the first aisle to meet you is the cereal aisle, which I enchantingly enter. I get lost in each and every cereal box, fantasizing about how good a spoonful would be from each and every one. After doing this for a bit, I glance down at my watch. 25 minutes have gone by. I've been wandering up and down the cereal aisle for 25 minutes. I'm here to buy dinner. I resign myself back to my current task, and press on. Finally, I've gotten everything I need to craft a dinner that will satisfy a case of the munchies I've never felt so profoundly before in my life. I'm walking back to my car, and a thought stops me in my tracks. I look down at my groceries. Then I look back at the store. I look down at my groceries. Then I look back at the store. Wait a minute. I think to myself, I didn't pay for any of this crap. I stand there agape for probably a good 5 minutes or so, trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do. Do I take the now free meal and get the hell out of there? Nope. In my inebriated state, I decide what would then be the most appropriate course of action is to head back into the store to share with the staff that I was so goddamn high that I forgot to do the most basic step in retail commerce, and pay for the items I took off their shelves. On my way back in, I'm welcomed by a wide-smiled employee greeter, who I honestly can't even remember if she was there the last time I walked in, or if I had even spoken to her before. She smiles. You forget something? Yeah, I kinda. I meekly stammer. I kinda forgot to pay for these. Hey. Have you ever seen someone completely lose any and all respect for you in an instant flat? a person's expression go from bright-eyed warm smile to a look of utter contempt and disgust normally reserved for excrement? That's the look I saw that day, and it was a look and a scenario that convinced me forever afterwards that maybe there's a limit to how high I ever wanna get, and that maybe muffin rips aren't for me. My brother did this on a muffin trip. He got frustrated that he wasn't feeling anything as all his buddies started their trips and decided to go to the gas station down the road for snacks. As he's browsing, all of a sudden his trip begins. He has a pack of those peanut butter crackers in his hands, and suddenly they start growing. He panics and does the only thing that makes sense to him in the moment: he quickly stuffs them in his pocket. Crisis avoided. He then goes around the store piling a huge assortment of snacks on top of a 12-pack of brisk tea and some soda. When he feels he has everything he needs, he just starts casually walking to the door. The cashier asks him in a confrontational way, "Can I help you?" My brother just says, "No thanks, I'm good," in a calm and charismatic manner with a huge smile on his face. The cashier just stood there with a puzzled look on his face, and didn't pursue or try to confront my brother. Almost like the cashier somehow thought he himself was the one in the wrong. My brother, luckily, drove safely back to his friend's house and was a hero for bringing all the snacks and drinks. It wasn't until the next day that my brother realized that he so confidently and brazenly shoplifted that he left the gas station attendant speechless and bewildered. I threw my socks in the trash instead of the laundry basket. Twice. They weren't even in the same room. That's okay, I threw them in the toilet once. How? I had something that I wanted to throw in the toilet in my left hand and the socks in my right. You can imagine the rest. I do this crap sober, man. Yo, I do this all the time if it's my first bowl of the day after a long day at work. I always toss my socks in the bin and then I'm like, oh damn, and toss me in my laundry basket. This made me laugh. I have no idea where it comes from. My sister threw her socks in the trash too, but she wasn't high. She was just distracted. After 6 years of laughing at this memory, I did the same. I was distracted too. Happened to me today. Wasn't even high. Listening to music with headphones for an hour before realizing the headphones weren't even plugged in and I was just blasting it through my phone. Please tell me this was in public. Thankfully no. But it was at like 2 a.m. in my apartment and I received complaints the next morning. This was a fear I had during a muffin trip. Decided to drop a few tabs and have a nice stroll through the city. It was Saturday, so the city was bustling and I wanted some tunes to drown out the noise a bit. Obviously the music sounded wicked weird, so I was constantly checking to make sure the headphones were plugged in. Kept glancing at everyone else to make sure I wasn't drawing any extra attention to myself. I was fine. Ended up following the sun to the city garden and laying in the grass, watching the birds fly by and the grass move with life. Laying in the grass is common practice, lol. Don't worry. Did get a few weird looks for just laying in the grass without a picnic blanket, though. Man, I've done that a couple times. Lay on the grass and watch the sky go by, stone sober. It's great. Using my phone as a light to look for my phone. I've done this sober more than once. There's a Zen koan, metaphorical puzzle, about a monk who goes out at night looking for a lantern, not realizing that it's the light he's carrying. The modern adaptation. In the middle of a board game, I stood up to get another beer, a few feet from the game table, but had to remove the gallon of milk from the fridge to get the beer. I picked up the jug, and matched eyes with a non-high friend of mine, for some reason thought I'd make him laugh by pretending to pour the milk on my head. The cap was not on the jug properly. My friend watcher stoned me, took a gallon of milk and poured it on my head. Everyone was just as confused as I was, as there was no rhyme or reason for any of it. My explanation for why it happened wasn't very valid. Turn the TV down to taste food easier. I have done this sober a couple of times, tbh. I have also put on my glasses when I couldn't hear someone very well. Interestingly, looking at the person who's talking actually helps understand what they're saying. Subconsciously you also pay attention to the lips of someone when they're speaking. So trying to see someone's face when they're speaking makes total sense. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more Reddit content like this, please subscribe and like this video. I guess I will see you in the next one.